Hello and welcome to Starting Out Sober. My name is Matthew James Sullivan. Today I am 117 days sober as I record this. The last few weeks we've talked about, coming clean to yourself, come clean to your loved ones, going to detox, support systems. And today we're going to talk about sober support groups and things like meetings. So there are more and more support groups every year for sobriety. Sobriety is becoming a bigger part of culture in general. More and more restaurants and bars are having like non-alcoholic drinks and mocktails and such on their menu. That is in large part due to this exact thing. There's more support for the sober. When you get sober, one of the first questions people ask is, are you in AA? Are you going to meetings? AA, or Alcoholics Anonymous, is kind of like the first big sober support group. There's also NA for Narcotics Anonymous. AA is by far the most popular, but it is not for everyone. They follow a 12 steps plan for sobriety, the first of which is admitting you are powerless over alcohol, that our lives become unmanageable. The second step is where it can lose people at times, but it's very important for those that do it. That is, that you come to believe that a power greater than ourselves can restore us to sanity. That kind of being a God-like figure. But God doesn't have to be a religious God to some people. It can simply mean a higher power. Some people at rock bottom need spirituality to restore themselves. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. For me, I did try some AA meetings early on, especially when I was in detox. They had a number of people from different AA sects come in and talk with us, and then after I tried a few AA meetings, while I appreciated the stories I heard, I felt a bit kind of out of place personally. Um, I don't have a spiritual bone in my body, like absolutely zero. It just wasn't really working for me. All the steps and the higher power and everything. But there are alternatives. One big one right now is Smart Recovery, which has a 4-point program that's becoming fairly popular. They come from a more kind of practical point of view. For me, I found apps to be the most useful. There's a number of apps out there like I Am Sober, Sober Tool, and the app I use called Reframe. I would do your own research on those because they cost money for the most part, but I found Reframe to be great. It is over, I think, $100 a year, but for me, it's worth every penny. So I know if you can't afford that, then you can probably find something else out there. They take on sobriety from a kind of a scientific and wellness perspective. They have daily readings, writing prompts, exercises, courses, sobriety tracker, message board, and of course, online Zoom meetings throughout the day. The meetings are a bit more up my alley than AA2. They're kind of a bit looser with just, you know, different thought experiments for the day, if you will. If you do like this idea, remember it does cost money to keep going on the app. It is worth every penny for me, as I said, but I know not everyone can afford that. There are also things like even Reddit and Facebook groups and Instagram and TikTok and online message boards, and also just there's so many support groups out there these days. I found I found Facebook to have some support groups, like even like some musicians have kind of sober groups amongst just like the musicians, like the Grateful Dead have a sober support group, part of the fan base. It's really cool. But all I have to say is do your own research, but I would highly suggest using something. Going it alone is very, very tough, as we've stated on this podcast pretty much every time. Connecting with people going through the same thing as you is very cathartic. And I really, really suggest, finding some kind of support group to deal with, and, meet and definitely reach out to some fellow sober people and connect with them. That's today's episode. If you like today's music, that is Snow Melts, 2 words, Snow Melt. That is one of my music projects. And yeah, give me 5 stars if you on the podcast apps. And if you're on TikTok watching this, thank you very much. We are over 1,000 likes so far and over 80 followers. On Instagram, we are up to almost 400 followers on there. That's Starting Out Sober pod on Instagram. So yeah, thank you very much for listening, and I will talk to you on Thursday.